Hey, how's it going, everyone? Good morning, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We basically pushed higher a little bit yesterday and failed to hold above the previous high and started to work back down. And this price is basically holding in this range here, especially the range from last Thursday, where we're just kind of sitting between basically 55s and 80s here. Not a whole lot to do at the moment, but there are signs here, continued signs where price continues to make new highs and continues to make new lows. This has been an uptrending market, and price continues to hold at 2460. So that would suggest more strength overall. There is minor behavior here where price is unable to hold above the previous high and has to rotate back down, so that suggests that there is a bit of hesitancy here and bears are looking to try and defend. A failure to hold 2460 overall again has a rotation back toward 2434 half, but that pullback or any pullback still likely a buying opportunity as the market has been rather strong. So we'll see how this continues to play out as price trades at the center here, but no real edge until price gets to the edge of a range. Let's take a look. Actually, let's go over here to crude now. Crude oil right here has showed quite a squeeze overall. Day over day, higher highs, higher lows, hasn't really come back to the breakout point. And this is the first day here where we're seeing a rejection of the highs already and a pullback past the mid here of the previous session. So we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off here during pre-market trading. One thing I wanted to show was, I mentioned before that this ascending wedge here with the breakout to the upside suggested a pushback toward the 52s, the recent pivot high. But keep in mind also, the last few times we've called strength, it's been to this upper trend line. For the most part, it's been lower than the previous peak low, and right now we're right at it again. So we may have just found a short-term top if that's going to be the case, if this line remains intact. So continue to watch this line right here. We also have the lower line of the channel, and over the last few rotations, it's taken a few days of development up here before we've seen that decisive move back to value. But if this is going to be about where price begins to stall and find rejection at around the 50s, 50 evens, that could be an opportunity here to fade it back toward 45.66, which is composite VPOC. That would be a great fade back. Again, got to watch for signs of rejection. This could be the beginning, but doesn't necessarily mean it's time to sell just yet. All right, let's take a look at the intraday time frame for crude, because we've had an interesting behavior here to end the session yesterday. Very, very solid squeeze out of a narrow pattern. So let's go up a little bit here to a 512 tick chart. Here it is. We had downtrending channel behavior for most of the day, and then about right here, price goes bid through value. Major squeeze ensues into the close. Sideways up until about 4 a.m. Central here, and at that point, we started to see selling pressure. So right now we're seeing selling pressure already back toward 49.70s. That is weekly VWAP, by the way. And any bounce here could bring price back toward intraday VWAP in addition to the previous session's close. Again, given the current selling pressure, that may be a short-term selling opportunity for bears. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. The previous session, what we were looking for from the NQ was for bears to defend 59.30 to 59.27. That was the zone we talked about yesterday. Right here in this area, that was the zone where I mentioned if bears keep that area offered, it could be some selling pressure throughout the session here. That was going to be the major pivot, and so far, rejection. We saw that rejection early in the day in the trading room, and that helped us suggest much more weakness was likely ahead. And then from here, inside day right now after rejecting from that level. So we have very tightly coiled and compressed trading behavior here, and that could really spring either way, to be honest, right? Volatility says nothing about direction. Basically, we could be looking at a push back above these highs. So if price were to be able to recapture, say, prices above 59.40, that could lead to quite a squeeze ahead. If price continues to reject these levels as it is right now, 59.27 to 59.30, that would suggest at least another push back down, perhaps back toward the pivot point for the new month. That would be around 58.12 or so. So right now, still below the pivot, coiling up, compressed price behavior. We could be looking at expansion at some point pretty soon. Lastly, let's take a look at gold futures. Gold we've had as a buy since this day here. We've had failed range expansion calls on days like this, and right now we're seeing more of the same. This is what I mentioned in our trading room yesterday. Given the strength of gold here, we could be looking at a continuation into the upper end of its trading range between 1295 and 1300. I mentioned if all things are equal by the end of the day here, we'd be looking for failed new lows below this prior day's low. That could give us an early indication that the next multi-day squeeze will be underway. So right now we're seeing that rejection already underway. So here's the previous session's low, price drops below and is now back above. That could be an early indication. You can see here the previous month's high is here and the previous month's close is here. That's basically yesterday. So whichever way the market shakes out from this level, these two major levels, it's going to lead to a key level right away. You got R25 right above for the month. If there's a rejection here and price starts to go lower, the midpoint becomes very important. That's around 1240. That's the bottom of the pivot range. And then, of course, the bottom of the range. So right now, watching for signs of further strength. If you look at the intraday time frame, right here, this is what you'll see. Right here, price drops down and quickly rallies back up. That's the initial rejection that you're already seeing. Here's the previous session's low. Double dip, boom, boom, and back above. So right now we want to see if price can form some sort of absorption or keep this low sealed. So any rotation perhaps back into 1270 or 71 could offer a buying opportunity for a potential bounce back towards 77. So that's the short-term call here. All right, let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Now I do got that one announcement. We will be hosting a monthly market outlook for the month of August later on this afternoon after the close, just after the close, 3:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So if you'd like to join me, it is free. You can check the Twitter feed at PivotBoss for more details later on. All right, looking forward to seeing you later on. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you soon.